It's just lies, and we don't have to believe them. It's a choice that we get to make, inspired choice, right? You get to make the inspired choice to allow yourself to rest and to no longer be burnt out.
Wow, that's the best message. I will do this the next weekend. Of course. Thank you. Yeah. Welcome to Inspired Choice today. I'm your host, Caroline Biesalski, here to bring you authentic stories, surprising lessons, and powerful takeaways to fuel your journey in business and life. In each episode, I'll take you from one inspiring guest to the next, blending their experiences with my expertise to uncover practical strategies you can use right away. Whether you're starting out or stepping up, stay tuned for insights and actionable tips that make a difference. And stick around until the end for a special freebie just for our listeners. Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline and my today's guest is Cheree Sauer, and I'm so happy that she said yes again to our interview. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Wow. I'm blessed and honored, and I would love to introduce you to the audience, of course. You are a speaker, coach, and retreat leader focused on redefining success through well-being. With a master's in sports psychology and extensive experience working with athletes and entrepreneurs, you champion intentional living and work-life balance. After overcoming burnout, you now inspire others to lead healthier, more balanced lives. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Cheree Sauer.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, my first question is, how did your personal experience with burnout shape your approach to coaching and advocating for well-being?
Yeah, well, I experienced burnout 3 times. First in my career, and that was mostly because after 14 years of working with athletes, I had babies, and I was tired of working nights and weekends and everybody having access to me 24/7, and I just wanted my time freedom back. And then I took a leap of faith. I became a stay-at-home mom, and I thought it was going to be cupcakes and rainbows. And after 4 months, I found myself at the kitchen table bawling my eyes out because I hated my life, and I really did not like being a mom. And in that season, it was really because I didn't really understand how to take care of myself. I was really good at taking care of everybody else as a healthcare provider. I didn't know how to take care of me. And so I learned in that season how important self-care was for my mental and emotional health, and also for the health of my family. I became really passionate about encouraging other moms. I started a gift box company, and after 3 years, I experienced burnout again. But that time, it was because I was lacking fulfillment in what I was doing. About 80% of what I needed to do to make that business successful was not in my strengths at all. And so everything I was doing felt hard and frustrating and exhausting. And so through each of those experiences, I learned different things about myself. I learned different ways to overcome burnout and the different dynamics that create burnout. And after the 3rd time of getting burnt out, I decided I'm not doing this anymore. Like, this is the last time. This is never going to happen again. And I'm going to figure out how to do it differently. And in sports, what I recognized is that athletes who become Olympic gold medalists or champions, they have the right coach, the right skill set, the right mindset, and the right rest to performance ratio. And that rest to performance ratio is often what's missing in the business world, right? We're taught to push and achieve and go for our goals, but nobody really teaches us, one, how to rest and unplug from work. And 2, like, nobody's really given us a framework for how to balance and juggle it all. And so that is really where my coaching is at. And what I've created something that's called the RAMP method, that's designed just like sports training programs are designed. So athletes can become an Olympic gold medalist without getting injured or burnt out. And so now we just bring that into the business world.
Wow, I love that, what you mentioned. So first of all, when I started all this podcast, I was aware that people can have a burnout. Yes, and I know what it was. I experienced burnout as well. And then I realized there are people, they are telling me they had burnout twice. And then now you are telling me you have it 3 times. And it is not like you have it once and then you come over it and it is you are healed, so to say. No, it is a process. And every time you pointed out, every time you had it, you learned something about yourself. Then you said about self-care. It's also important. And I like what you said, rest performance ratio, because people call it work-life balance, and other people say to harmonize work and life. So to say, now I have a new expression. Thank you so much for that. And then you introduce the ramp method. I think that athletes apply in order to be successful in the Olympic Games, for example, and then you bring it in the business world. And I like this combination, of course. And also, I think it was important for you to make a committed decision that you don't want to experience this anymore in your life, right? And to find out how.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's that work-life balance feels like, oh, it doesn't exist. It's a unicorn. But everybody's work-life balance is different. And people think about work-life balance in a 50-50, right? 50% of your time spent at work, 50% of your time in life. But if we take the 3-to-1 rest to performance ratio that's used in sports, so in sports, they have a rest season, an off season, they have a preseason, an in season, and then a post peak season, and then they go into active recovery and they repeat the cycle. And so if we can take that model and apply it just the same, whether it's in our day, our week, our month, or our year, we can apply it to our life and to our business. And that's what I really love about this approach, is bringing the two together, because I feel like, we have these business coaches that like push us to these business goals, but how are these business goals really supporting our life? And a lot of times our life ends up supporting our business. And so how can we make these two work together really well? And the permission to rest, I think, is probably the most important thing, because a lot of people I hear, I feel guilty if, I take time off, or, I just go watch a movie or whatever. And it's like, well, that's really what your body needs. It's trying to tell you that it needs to rest. And if you don't allow it to rest, it will force you to rest.
Absolutely. By diseases or accidents or something. I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah.
This was amazing. Okay, my next question. Thank you. So I learned so much already. What strategies do you recommend for leaders to achieve work-life balance? There you go, while maintaining high performance.
Yeah. So I'll just kind of bring the RAMP method back into this, because this is how I teach entrepreneurs to do this. So RAMP is an acronym. It stands for Rest, Align, Master, Peak. And so if you imagine as business owners, a lot of times we're on all the time, whether we're at work or we're at home with kids or taking care of parents or whatever it is. We're just on 24/7 unless we're sleeping, which even then business owners aren't great at sleeping too, right? So the RAMP method, it's a framework to set up a 1-year plan that is very clear on what are you doing in each season and what are you not doing. And it's a holistic approach that takes your specific physiology, whether you're a male or a female, and then also your business trends, and combines those together. And so the kind of just to break down the seasons, and if you think about this for your industry, it really doesn't matter what industry you're in. Every industry has slow and busy seasons, right? And so typically in the slow seasons, it's like, oh my gosh, the income's not coming in. I've got to push harder. I've got to go find more. And people get into that force. And then by the time they get into their busy season, they're exhausted and they're burnt out. And so instead of forcing and pushing in that slow season, what if we allowed ourselves to rest? Doesn't mean you're going to shut your business down. Like athletes in the off season, they're still swimming and shooting hoops and lifting. It's just at a lower intensity and they're having fun. It's not organized. And so in business, if we can look at our slow season and change the perspective and think about what can I do differently? How can I reset, rebuild, recharge so I can ramp up to that busy season? And then the align phase. So this is kind of the equivalent to preseason in sports. In sports, they're working on foundational skills. They're learning how to work as a team. So that's the equivalent of the align phase. And in business, we talk about getting in alignment with your values, your priorities, making sure you're in alignment with your zone of genius and your team is in alignment with their zone of genius. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who have employees, and employees a lot of times are the big stressors. And so we talk about how do we manage stress for ourselves, with teams, things like that. And then the master phase. So I should say the rest season, this is like your slowest season, right? Like super slow. You're usually anxious and stressed. We teach how do you become peaceful in that phase. The align phase, not super slow, not busy. It's just kind of there. And then the master phase is starting to get busier. So it's starting to ramp up. And this is when we really want to master calendar, operational efficiency, communication, whether that's with your loved ones or with your team. In sports, this is their competition phase. And so it's really, they've learned the foundational skills. Now it's about mindset. Because if they get on that court or that field and they're not in the right mindset, they're either going to lose or they're going to get injured. And so in business, if we can really get our mindset where it needs to be, and this really plays into learning how to let go, outsource, automate, delegate in business, because I find a lot of people work in their zone of excellence, not their zone of genius. So what they're really skilled at, but does not bring them joy. And they end up a majority of their time there because it's like, well, I can do this. Why would I outsource it and pay somebody else? Well, let's, return on investment. So it's just a different perspective shift. And then the peak season, this is like your busiest season. This is when you need to be in peak performance, and we want you to be in peak performance. But if you haven't rested your body well, it's really hard to be in peak performance, or you're in peak performance in your business and you get home and you're exhausted and can't be present for your family. So that's kind of just a quick overview of the RAMP method, and the strategy that we use and that we recommend is really look at your year of your business, your normal trends. And it doesn't have to just be 4 seasons. Like we have some clients, they have 2 rest seasons and 2 busy seasons and 1 align and master season. So it's really customizable. But for anybody listening, what I would really just encourage you to do is ask yourself, how do you feel in your slow season versus how do you want to feel, right? Does it feel anxious and stressful? But what you want is to feel peaceful. And then how does your busy season feel? Does it feel organized and good, or does it feel chaotic and like you can barely keep your head above water? And that's most of the clients that we work with. And so how do we take this framework and give you strategies for each of these seasons so you can feel at your best no matter what season you're in?
Wow, I love the RAMP method already. It is rest, align, master, and peak. It could be in the beginning, I thought peak is peace. Maybe if you master it, then it's peace. No, I was imagining what is the P about. Peak, and then peak is equals peace. If you master it. Yes, I love it so much. Thank you so much. It is about the allowance to rest. And you said you can measure, so to say. I know you didn't say this, but I think what I understood, if you measure the intensity of the rest part shows in the peak part if you did it well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. My next question is, how do your retreats and speaking engagements help people embrace intentional living and redefine success?
Yeah. So speaking, we bring this RAMP method and we walk through exercises. And the speaking we do, we put on lunch and learns and workshops, and then also do this for audiences. We've gone into real estate offices, insurance agencies, and we teach this method. whether they want to take it and run or they want to do coaching with us. And then through our retreats, we do some locally. We actually have one coming up in Costa Rica in May. This one is specifically for women and women of faith who are really struggling to have that peace. Like they feel like they're in that hustle. Maybe they're feeling burnt out and they don't want to be there anymore. And so the retreats allow women, really anybody, but ours are for women to get out of the hustle and grind. And we, excuse me, we work on their business as well as on them personally. So give me just a second. I didn't want to keep coughing on you. It allows them just to step away and really be able to focus on what matters, because in business, at home, we get stuck in reactive mode. We get stuck in putting out fires. And so a retreat allows you to just step away from the normalcy of life. And we provide all the food. They don't have to worry about really anything. They just have to show up and be ready to work on themselves. And so we incorporate the RAMP method into our retreats as well. The one we actually have coming up in May is myself, another coach, and a branding expert. So it's a business and branding retreat. So super fun. We get to go to Costa Rica and get a tax write-off. But with our retreats, it's really about transformation. So it's not just strategy, but it's also incorporates the belief and the mindset that you need to go with that strategy, because you can do strategy all day long, but if you don't have the mindset and the belief to go with it, it's not going to work. I did that for 8 years until I finally learned that I had to get my belief and my mindset to match that strategy. And so I kept getting frustrated. And I think this is a lot of burnout too. People get frustrated of, I'm not getting the clients or the leads, and I've tried all these different strategies, and I have these different people telling me what to do. But if you don't work on your belief and your mindset, business is 80% mindset and belief and 20% strategy.
Wow, this is amazing what you shared. Thank you so much. I learned so much about, yes, you combine this and also you teach the method. You have speaking engagements and the retreats, of course, and please reach out to Cheree or to me. I will introduce you or connect you because of the upcoming retreat in May. And I love that so much because it is to stepping away from your day-to-day life and then to have a different perspective and rethink and relocate and whatever you do there. I love your work. And yeah, my next question would be about your goals and intentions and one of your next projects. You mentioned the retreat already. What else is coming up?
Yeah, we have a big Success Without Sacrifice summit coming up. The name of our business is actually Success Without Sacrifice. It's myself and I have a business partner, and we are hosting a virtual summit December 11th through the 13th.
I love that. Okay, we will put this out there, then people can register, sign up, reach out to you. It is amazing. Thank you for our interview. And yeah, you told us already where we can find you, or I don't think so, maybe.
Oh, as I say, I don't think I did. Me personally, you can find me on Facebook at Cheree Sauer, or Instagram. I'm more active on Facebook. And then our business is Success Without Sacrifice Coaching on Facebook.
Thank you so much. Now it's time for your final thoughts to the audience, please.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Final thoughts. I would say, like, really just to come back to the rest, if you are feeling like if you feel guilty or people pleasing or fear around rest or any of those things, really explore why and where that's coming from. For me, I was chasing achievement and success for validation and worthiness. And I thought, if I just get to 10K months, if I just get here, then I'll be happy. Then, X, Y, Z. And so if you are feeling like it's hard for you to rest and unplug, really dig in and figure out why and ask, where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way? Because it's just lies. It's just lies, and we don't have to believe them. It's a choice that we get to make, inspired choice, right? You get to make the inspired choice to allow yourself to rest and to no longer be burnt out.
Wow, that's the best message. I will do this the next weekend. Of course. Thank you. Yeah, I just made the decision, and you talked about choices. This is so true. We get to choose, and choose to rest today or whenever it is possible to unplug. I love the word you used. Thank you so much for our interview. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Caroline.
And see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Inspired Choice today. I'm thrilled to have you on this journey of growth and transformation. Don't forget to hit follow or subscribe to stay connected and never miss an episode. And here's something special. Grab your free 20-minute breakthrough session with me. It's designed to help you kickstart or level up your business. Just check out the show notes for more. Until next time, keep making those inspired choices. See you in the next episode.